It is very weak to go ahead and blame people who are just trying to cope and fight for some air in a world that wasn't made for them. I haven't been on the internet in about a decade. I log back in and I'm on my way out again. All I see are videos of men, grown men in air-conditioned rooms complaining about women all day. I mean, I just have a question. Who's out here driving the trucks? How are we getting anything done? What would your grandparents, what would your grandfather think? I mean, I'm not asking mine because he's massively depressed and counting down to the day he drops, so I'm not about to disappoint him further. And I only say that because you guys love to glorify the past. It's you guys who are constantly talking about the golden days of the past. Well, what would they think? You see, when I was in middle school, I created a 10-year plan. You were probably wondering if I was always this insufferable. I learned how to cook, I learned how to meal prep, I was learning how to budget, and I was learning about finance. I wanted to create my own business, and I wanted to provide for my family and lead us when I got to that point of my life. I was on autopilot thinking that other men were doing the same, but that was not the case. They were just watching women become bosses, and their response was to have them lower themselves and lower their standards as opposed to us meeting them at their level. What the hell is that? ¿Qué estamos haciendo? I mean, do you guys even like women? And when I say like them, I feel as though there's a difference between liking how a woman feels and actually liking her. There is a difference there, guys. There is a difference. I mean, what? You want to have sex with women but date the homies? I mean, that's a little homoerotic. Now, I've discovered this realm known as the Manosphere. And it's apparently comprised of these people who call themselves men's rights activists. And look, I'm not trying to cancel anyone, and I'm not saying that men don't deserve rights. I just wasn't aware that I was lacking in any sort of right. I don't see how that's possible, knowing that every aspect of society was created through the gaze of a male. And I'm aware of issues in court, custody. I'm aware of the suicide rates, all that type of stuff that men deal with. But those sound like singular issues. Nearly every other issue that men deal with is through the fault of other men. Just like most of the time, who you protect women from is from other men. Are you seeing you're seeing a pattern here? And yet we're blaming women, right? A society that we created. But let's blame women just because. It's the most limptic form of communication to create a whole movement to masquerade the fact that you don't like women. I mean, to me that sounds like too many steps, but I'm a pretty efficient person. I say it with my chest, gain opposition, and deal with the peasants later. I'm not out here creating distractions to not make sense, because you guys aren't making sense. You're not. To sound redundant, to not use logic, to not use facts, to sound like morons, to make yourselves look like clowns, all to get one message across, that you don't like women. There's also these channels on the Manosphere where I don't feel as though they empower men. It's all biased reporting where they find little cases of women doing things to men, and they have a circle jerk over it. It's just a circle jerk of hatred towards women. That's all. That's all it is. Look at the thumbnails. Look at everything. There's no thought. There's no nuance. There's no rationality to it. There's no perspective. There's nothing. Because all you care about is hating on women and having a laugh at it with your bros. Because let me tell you, I'm going to give you some content ideas. If you were to actually look back and see and actually report, if you wanted to be an unbiased news source, if you wanted to be a broadcaster, to be taken seriously and be an actual broadcaster and not be like Fox and CNN, then you do as I say. You'd go and you report the other side, right? You report when men do terrible things to women, and you're going to find out that there's no space in your camera for you to record this. There's none. You see, if you pick up a history book, you'll see that since the beginning of time, men have been annihilating women. And women just got rights like last fucking Tuesday. So please, check yourself, brother. I don't think that these channels actually empower men. Because if empowering men is teaching men and perpetuating the idea of hating on women, then that just makes you a weak man. That just makes you a small man. And now I don't have a problem with those channels that teach you how to dress well, how to take the Cheetos stain, nacho cheese stain off of your shirt after a week, to tell you how to go to the gym. But I mean, I could tell you that. That's so basic, man. That's so basic. As a matter of fact, I am telling you right now, mother. Get off your lazy ass, go to the gym, go sign up for an MMA gym, and get your face punched in a few times. Look, I work out, I practice MMA too. And I don't need a whole movement to tell me to do these things. And you use that as a way to justify all of their other content because it's all garbage. And you say that, oh, they just tell me that I gotta go to the gym. I'm telling you now, mother, you got no excuse. You got no excuse. That's it. It's over. Go to the gym. Go sign up for MMA. Do jiu-jitsu. Go box. Do whatever you want. Go throw kicks like Joe Rogan. You don't have to have a whole movement behind this. I mean, it's very simple advice. I know the bar was low, but now I feel like the bar is in hell. And I don't know where to go from here, guys. I don't know where to go because my camera frame is only like this. So just imagine. I just don't know. Do I dig into the ground? Because that's where you guys are headed. And I don't have a problem with you having an issue with society and how it's structured. That's totally healthy. I just have a problem with you not being aware that it was created by men, for men. So why don't you redirect your blame? It's just a misdirection. Just take it where it actually belongs, to the people who actually created the system, instead of placing it on women. Because if you do that, then it just seems like you don't like women. You see what I'm saying? What are you blaming them for when they're just reacting to something that we created? I mean, even by nature, men are the catalyst, and women multiply whatever you give them. Women complain about traditional arrangements mainly because we didn't hold our side of the social contract, we abused our power, and we didn't let anybody have a chance to opt out of it. We as men need to take accountability. I hear the Manosphere speaking about how we need to hold women accountable. Accountable for what? Are you indirectly then labeling them as leaders? Because that goes against everything you guys speak about. By your own philosophy, men are the leaders. So why don't we take accountability? We structured society. We are the catalyst. So let's take responsibility as to where society is headed. It is very weak to go ahead and blame people who are just trying to cope and fight for some air in a world that wasn't made for them. Understand? Some of you are going to say that I sound like a raging liberal in this video, but let me get something very clear. I don't do performative garbage for anybody, nor do I pander to anybody either. But I do put everybody, every single person in their place when they deserve it. And you definitely do, you weak-ass men. And please, don't categorize me as a hero. I'm not interested in that title. I do this more for my disgust of delusional men than anything. I'm not a good boy. I'm not from a happy home. I fight fire with fire, and these men need a reality check. You can call me a soy boy or a white knight all you want, but I can still probably turn you into a pretzel. I do eat a lot of liver, though, and no seed oils. If you know, you know. And regarding kicking someone while they're down, or in a pretzel in this case, that's not freedom. And ironically, you guys are always the ones speaking about freedom, and so am I. My father went to jail in Cuba for freedom. I'm obsessed with freedom, but it's not performative. You see, I feel like you guys are champions of performative freedom because if you guys were actually concerned about freedom, then you'd actually feel for women and not, try to destroy them all the time. If you were consistent, then you'd be up in arms about women not having freedom. But I fight for freedom. That's why I fight for everybody's freedom, because I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. Nobody likes a hypocrite. Are you a hypocrite? And while we can't fix the world overnight, the least we could do is not burden them with more problems while we figure this mess out. Because the last thing they need is to have men, grown men, remember, grown men, in air-conditioned rooms complaining about them on podcasts all day. Grown men, and fueling more hatred in a society that's already against them. And that's how you cause people, that enables, you guys don't realize it, but if you really think about it, that is what enables a lot of violence because you create a culture of that. And you might not do it. I'm not accusing you of doing it. You might not do it, but that definitely inspires somebody else to do it. On top of all this, women are blamed for nearly everything. When they want to obtain a man with means so that they can live a soft life that's in congruence with their lunar cycles, then they're labeled as a gold digger. But when they go after the bag and focus on their careers, then they're too independent. And they have to lower their self-worth to accommodate themselves and give opportunities to loser men. It doesn't... The best men, the real men, are going to get the cookies. You're going to get the crumbs. Don't complain if you get the crumbs. That's natural selection. Women don't gotta accommodate themselves for anybody. It's illogical to create a system in which you benefit from for centuries, and then the first sign, the first taste, the first whiff of the same benefits that you got, just a taste of that, is enough for you to complain and blame the oppressed party for searching to be a complete human with an identity. Now let me say how it really is. You're scared of change because you initially brought nothing to the table, and the only thing keeping you relevant was a system that you piggybacked off of that forced women to be with you because she couldn't even open a fucking bank account without you. They relied on you, but now because they don't directly need you, now it's not so easy. Now you have to try. And you don't want to try because you have a lack of masculinity. You see, modern times are going to separate the boys from the men. And now you can't be a lazy little shit. Now you have to be a man. So yeah, man up. Also, I don't got a problem with the channels that show you not to just let water run down your legs and to actually like soap them up. I know you guys need that. So I'm going to put that out there too.
Dicen que la distancia es el olvido, pero yo no concibo esa razón.